My Neighbor Totoro is unlike any film I've ever seen. Where there's normally quick cuts, each shot has time to breathe. Where there's usually a soaring soundtrack, the only thing we hear is the quiet ambience of nature. And where complex and over-the-top cinematography is often praised, each composition is simple and serene. In this video essay, I want to explore the cinematography of My Neighbor Totoro. I want to uncover what makes it so special and how its visual palette is like none other. This video will be broken down into 4 parts: composition, camera movement, lighting, and color. As a fairly new fan of Studio Ghibli films, I would definitely not call myself an expert in regards to their subject matter and meaning. But I would love to discuss what I've discovered so far and encourage you to leave a comment if I missed anything or if you have any insight of your own. With that being said, we will first break down the cornerstone of cinematography: composition. Hayao Miyazaki, director of My Neighbor Totoro, and his team are masters of crafting beautiful compositions that pull the viewer deeper into the story. Composition refers to how the elements on screen appear in respect to each other and within the frame itself. Each shot throughout the film is perfectly balanced, letting each element on the screen share the space evenly to avoid visual clutter. A classic Miyazaki composition is the ultra-wide shot, often used to establish a new scene. These shots are highly immersive and provide an amazing sense of scale, with the characters appearing as no more than pinpricks on the screen. Another key aspect of the film's compositions is the amount of depth depicted in each frame. This depth is achieved through a combination of foreground elements and detailed backgrounds. The foreground in many shots is slightly out of focus, to mimic the way our eyes or camera would see the scene. The midground is usually where the main action is taking place, and generally has the most detail. Finally, the background is pivotal for painting in the world that surrounds the characters. Sometimes intricately detailed, other times painterly and soft, it adds the final layer of depth to an image. Another recurring composition technique seen in the film is having a frame within the frame. It draws the viewer's eyes to the subject of the image and can convey additional meaning to the scene. For example, in this composition, the dark forest surrounding the bright, sunlit grass gives the feeling that the character is leaving safety and heading into unknown territory. I wanted to quickly add that there's a ton of other composition techniques used to convey additional meaning throughout the movie. In this high-angled shot peering down through the trees, it insinuates that something is watching the little girl. In some shots, the frame is cluttered and complex, while other shots are simple and minimal. The contrast between these two can inform the viewer of what the scene may be trying to say. Is the character stressed out and scattered, or are they focused and at peace? Along with creating beautiful compositions, cinematography also includes the movement of the camera. Unlike many modern-day animated films, a large majority of shots in My Neighbor Totoro are still, letting the characters move throughout the scene, similar to a stage play. When the camera does move, it's either panning or tilting, zooming in or out, or dynamically tracking the action. Panning or tilting shots are largely used in 3 ways: to give the audience perspective of looking through a character's eyes, to direct the viewer's attention, or to transition between scenes. Zooming in or out is either used to show more detail in the frame or to reveal more of the scene surrounding the frame, respectively. Zooming in is also often coupled with a cut to a close-up shot, making the cut less jarring. Both zooming or panning can be better understood by thinking of a scene as one giant illustration. The panning and tilting are done by moving the camera across this larger image, while zooming in or out is the magnification or demagnification of the image. The final notable camera movement in the film is what I'm calling a dynamic track. These types of shots are the antithesis of the static shots that make up most of the film. Instead of letting the characters control the movement of the scene while the background stands still, the background is what's providing the motion while the characters remain in place. Oftentimes, these moving shots will be used if a character is leaving one scene and entering another, or in some cases, leaving one world for another. In My Neighbor Totoro, there are two sources of light. Natural light, being sunlight or moonlight, and practical light, being any artificial light that is built into the scene. This style of lighting is more aptly called motivated lighting. The film does not make use of its counterpart, unmotivated lighting, where the light does not have a logical source within the scene. For natural light, Miyazaki sets many of his scenes at sunrise or sunset, where light is golden and soft, shadows stretch long and dark, and everything is painted in a stunning array of saturated colors. Miyazaki, however, does not shy away from letting scenes take place midday, traditionally one of the hardest lighting conditions to capture. Slightly faded colors give the feeling of harsh daylight, while the contrast between pockets of dark shade and bright sunlight beautifully replicate a summer's afternoon. At night, the lighting takes on a completely different feel. In exterior scenes, moonlight illuminates the landscape below, casting a blue haze and muted white highlights on everything it touches. On the other hand, interior scenes rely on artificial light cast from warm tungsten lamps that gently melt away the darkness. On occasion, artificial lights can be seen outside, lighting up the night. The warm glow of the streetlights and crisp lines of headlights cut through the night air and expose the characters from the dark canvas. Not only are colors used in My Neighbor Totoro to depict beautifully vibrant landscapes, but they're also used to reflect the emotions of each character on screen. The best word to describe the colors throughout the film would probably be saturated. During the day, scenes are filled with lush greens and bright blues, creating a palette of colors that finds nature at its most serene. Nights are dominated by shades of blue. They seep into each and every color throughout the scene, instilling a quiet calm over the world. Occasionally, these compositions include warm artificial light, causing the blues of the night to contrast beautifully with the yellows of the light. To fully appreciate the colors of My Neighbor Totoro, we also need to look at the colors the characters are wearing themselves. Satsuki, the protagonist, is always dressed in this bright shade of yellow. This could represent many things, but I believe it symbolizes her energy, joy, and intellect. Mei, on the other hand, Satsuki's little sister, is usually seen in this pink dress. Again, it could have many meanings, but perhaps it represents her tenderness, sweetness, and innocence. Finally, colors are also used in the film to draw the viewer's attention. Notice in this busy classroom scene, Satsuki, the main character, is noticeably more vibrant than her classmates. Or, in this scene, Satsuki's yellow outfit stands out in stark contrast from the dark green background. Overall, the cinematography throughout My Neighbor Totoro is simple and minimal, and all the better for it. The compositions are perfectly balanced, rich in depth, and packed with meaning. When the camera moves, it does so with a purpose, always propelling the story forwards and acting as a glue to hold the film together. The lighting and color are fresh, imaginative, and inspiring. Streams of golden light reveal the saturated landscapes of a world we all wish we could travel to. But for now, we'll just have to settle with watching the film again and again and again. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see others like it, please do consider subscribing. And if you have any suggestions for video essays I can do in the future, let me know in the comments below. Finally, you can also find me on Instagram at TommyDeWitt_, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.